more than 7,000 years before the Roman Empire. Before the Great Wall, before writing even existed. People came to this land, what we now call Turkey, to build something the world had never seen. A temple so old it rewrote human history. Massive stones, perfectly arranged, carved with symbols we still don't understand. No wheels, no metal, no cities, just mystery. And that was only the beginning. Because this land didn't just witness history, it shaped it. It's where empires rose, gods were worshipped, and secrets were buried deep beneath the earth, still waiting to be uncovered. Stay close, because what we're about to explore might just change how you see this place forever. Istanbul is a unique city that stretches across two continents, Europe and Asia, separated by the Bosphorus Strait. It's the largest city in Turkey, with over 15 million people living here, making it the most populous city in Europe. Originally founded as Byzantium in 660 BCE by Greek settlers, it became known as Constantinople after Emperor Constantine the Great made it the capital of the Roman Empire in 330 CE. For over 1,600 years, Constantinople served as the capital for empires like the Roman, Byzantine, and Ottoman empires. One of the most famous buildings here is the Hagia Sophia, which was the world's largest cathedral for nearly 1,000 years before becoming a mosque, after the Ottomans took the city in 1453. The Ottomans renamed the city Istanbul after capturing it. It became the center of the Islamic world. Istanbul blends its ancient history with modern culture, with historic sites like Topkapi Palace, the Grand Bazaar, and the Blue Mosque standing side by side with modern cafes and shopping malls. The city's rich cultural mix of Christian, Byzantine, and Islamic influences can still be seen in its architecture, food, and traditions. Istanbul is truly a city where East meets West, and every corner tells a story of its fascinating past. Before we continue, here's a quick question for you. Which of these famous ruins is found in Turkey? Comment your answer below. It might look like snow at first glance. But what you're seeing is pure salt. This is Lake Tuz, one of the biggest salt lakes in the world and the second largest lake in Turkey. Located in central Anatolia, it's not far from major cities like Ankara and Konya. For most of the year, the lake is super shallow, only about 1 foot deep. So when summer comes, it dries up and turns into a giant salt flat. Three salt mines here provide over half the salt used across Turkey, making this place important not just for tourists, but also for industry. The lake sits in a big geological basin that started forming millions of years ago due to movements in the Earth's crust. Because of the dry climate and low rainfall, the area looks almost like a desert, which makes it even more magical when the ground turns white. Even though Lake Tuz is facing challenges like climate change and water mismanagement, its surreal beauty still draws people in from all over the world. Did you know that building this mosque was a daring gamble by a sultan who risked everything to prove his empire's greatness? The Blue Mosque, a symbol of Ottoman grandeur, nearly didn't exist due to political pressures and economic struggles. Sultan Ahmed I, who ruled during the early 1600s, decided to build this monumental mosque despite facing opposition from religious scholars and financial difficulties. The project was so costly that it led to protests, as many believed the Sultan should use spoils from military victories to fund such a grand structure. Yet Sultan Ahmed pressed on, choosing a location next to the Hagia Sophia, aiming to create a rival to this legendary monument. Construction began in 1609, and despite challenges, the mosque was completed in 1617. It has since become one of the most iconic landmarks of Istanbul, drawing millions of visitors every year to admire its beauty and history. With its majestic domes, towering minarets, and intricate blue tiles, the mosque exudes a sense of serenity and grandeur that captivates all who visit. If you are watching this, please click the subscribe button in the corner of the screen. It's completely free, but means a lot to us. Pamukkale, meaning Cotton Castle in Turkish, is a stunning natural wonder located in the Denizli province of southwestern Turkey. This site is famous for its breathtaking travertine terraces, formed by the mineral deposits left behind by flowing thermal spring waters. From a distance, the gleaming white limestone terraces can be seen from the hills across the valley, including the town of Denizli, 20 kilometers away. For centuries, people have been drawn to Pamukkale for its therapeutic hot springs, with the area's history of visitors reaching back to classical antiquity. The name Pamukkale refers to the snowy white surface of the limestone, shaped over millennia by the flow of mineral-rich waters. These mineral-laden springs slowly drip down the mountainside, collecting in pools and cascading over the terraces, creating a stunning natural landscape. Pamukkale's travertine terraces are created by calcium carbonate, deposited as mineral-rich waters from 17 hot springs, which range in temperature from 35 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. In 1988, Pamukkale, along with Hierapolis, was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized both for its natural beauty and its historical significance. They say pirates once roamed these shores and this castle was built to stop them. Kusadasi Castle stands proud on a small island just off the coast, linked to the mainland by a narrow causeway. Locals call it Pigeon Island, and it's one of the town's most iconic sites. The castle was built in the 13th century, but it was later expanded by the Ottomans in the 1800s to defend against pirates sailing the Aegean. Thick stone walls still wrap around the island, and old cannons stand like silent guards. Inside, you'll find walking paths and views across Kusadasi's blue bay. The island is small but full of charm, quiet corners, flowers, and the salty sea breeze. From the harbor, the castle looks like it's floating. At sunset, the whole place glows gold. It's a perfect spot for a peaceful stroll. There are two seas that meet in Marmaris, and once you see the colors, you might believe it too. This coastal town sits right where the Aegean and Mediterranean waters come together. Turquoise waves lap against pine-covered hills, and boats drift lazily in the harbor. It was once a small fishing village, but Marmaris has a long history. It even caught the eye of Alexander the Great. Down by the marina, things get livelier. Yachts, music, and the scent of grilled seafood in the air. And if you're up for a short ride, the bays and coves nearby are perfect for a swim or a sunset cruise. It's the kind of place where one day melts into the next, and you'll want to stay just a little longer. Mardin is a city in southeastern Turkey, sitting on the side of a rocky hill. At the very top, there's an old stone fortress that has been watching over the city for centuries. The houses are built in rows along the slope, using the same yellow-colored stone, which gives the whole city a beautiful golden look. Most of the buildings are very old. Many go back to medieval times, and new construction isn't allowed in the old town because it's protected by UNESCO. This area has been home to many cultures, including Kurds, Arabs, Assyrians, and Armenians, and you can still feel that mix when you walk through the streets. In the past, Mardin was ruled by different empires like the Artukids, who built many of the mosques and schools you can still see today. Later, the city became part of the Ottoman Empire, and it stayed mostly peaceful during that time. Sadly, Mardin also went through hard times, especially during World War I, when many Assyrians and Armenians were forced to leave or lost their lives. Even with all this history, Mardin remains one of the best preserved cities in Turkey. Imagine an island where history and legend intertwine, Akdamar Island, nestled in the heart of Lake Van, eastern Turkey. This island is home to the beautiful 10th century Armenian Holy Cross Cathedral and a tragic love story that has lasted for centuries. According to an old legend, Princess Tamar lived here and fell in love with a young man. Every night, he swam to the island, guided by the light she set for him. One night, her father snuffed out the light, leaving him lost in the lake. Tragically, he drowned, and the words Ak Tamar were said to be frozen on his lips as his body washed ashore. Beyond the legend, Akdamar Island has a rich history. In the 10th century, King Gajik I of the Armenian kingdom built a grand palace and gardens here, making it a center of culture and power. Akdamar Island is a hidden gem, offering a unique mix of ancient history, legends, and breathtaking views, making it a must-visit spot in Turkey. Has this destination just made its way onto your travel list? Drop a 1 if you've been, or a 2 if it's now on your must-see list. Over 300 years ago, a stunning palace was built on a remote plateau in eastern Turkey, at the crossroads of the ancient Silk Road. The Ishak Pasha Palace, a semi-ruined masterpiece, blends Anatolian, Iranian, and Mesopotamian architectural styles. Construction began in 1685 by Kolak Abdi Pasha and was completed by his descendant, Ishak Pasha, in 1784. Strategically located near the Turkish-Iranian border, the palace overlooked the bustling trade routes of the Silk Road. Its design reflects a mix of Ottoman, Persian, and Western influences, a hallmark of the post-classical Ottoman period. Despite enduring earthquakes, war, and decay over the centuries, the palace's impressive architecture remains. By 1937, much of its stone was taken to build nearby homes, but restoration efforts in the 20th century brought it back to life. The palace was added to the UNESCO Tentative World Heritage List, acknowledging its historical significance. Did you know that millions of years ago, a volcanic eruption created something that looks straight out of a fairy tale? These towering fairy chimneys in Turkey were not crafted by magic, but shaped by nature over millennia. The eruption covered the region in ash, which eventually hardened into a porous rock known as tuff. Over time, wind and water eroded the softer tuff, leaving behind these incredible spires, some reaching heights of over 130 feet. The harder basalt on top formed protective mushroom-shaped caps, giving the chimneys their signature look. But the fairy chimneys are more than just geological wonders. They've been home to humans for centuries. Ancient Christians, fleeing Roman persecution, dug into the soft tuff to create entire underground cities, like the ones found in Konyaalti and Derinkuyu, capable of sheltering thousands of people. These once hidden caves are now part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site, celebrated as one of the largest and most fascinating cave-dwelling complexes in the world. We pull info from all sorts of places. If you spot something off or have more to share, drop a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Tucked between the mountains and the sea, Kaş is one of Turkey's hidden gems on the Mediterranean coast. It sits on a hillside that slopes down to the sea, surrounded by clear blue water and pine-covered mountains. The area has been settled since the Stone Age, but Kaş was founded by the ancient Lycians and was once called Habesos. It later became a Roman port city named Antipholus, and you can still see Lycian tombs and ruins around the town. In the Middle Ages, it was ruled by the Seljuks and then the Ottomans, and its name changed to Antipholus. In 1923, the Greek community left during the population exchange between Greece and Turkey. Tourism started to grow in the 1990s, especially with visitors from the UK and Germany. Kaş is known for its warm, dry summers, and farms nearby grow lemons, bananas, and even flowers all year round. More than 18 kilometers of golden sand, 1,500 meters wide, and not a single hotel in sight. That's because Patara Beach isn't just beautiful, it's wild, protected, and full of surprises. Here, soft dunes rise like little desert hills, shaped by the wind and glowing in the sunset light. The beach is so quiet and wide, you can always find your own peaceful corner, even in summer. Waves crash on the shore, and sometimes you'll see people windsurfing through the breeze. If you're lucky, you might even spot tiny baby turtles making their first journey to the sea. And when the sun sets behind the hills, Patara turns golden, like something from a dream. Nestled in the Aegean region of Turkey, Gumusluk is a hidden gem that offers more than just stunning views. Located on the ruins of the ancient city of Mendos, this seaside village is steeped in history. As you walk through the knee-deep water between two bays, you can spot the remains of old buildings that once stood thousands of years ago. One of the highlights here is Rabbit Island, or Tavşan Adası, where you can explore fragments of ancient architecture while soaking in the view of Gumusluk Cove. The surrounding hillsides are protected from development, so this peaceful village has managed to keep its natural charm and quiet beauty. Unlike many popular tourist spots, Gumusluk hasn't been overrun by modern construction, giving it a truly authentic feel. A serene beach with crystal clear waters, where the noise of the world seems miles away. For many, Uludenis's Blue Lagoon is the ultimate escape, a place to relax, recharge, and connect with nature. Nestled in the heart of Turkey's Mughla province, this hidden paradise lies just 13 kilometers from the vibrant town of Fethiye, easily accessible by a quick dolmus ride. Unlike many tourist hotspots, Uludeniz offers a peaceful environment, free from the noise of crowded clubs and loud nightlife. Visitors are drawn here not just for its beauty, but for the tranquility that wraps around you as you walk along the pristine shores. The Blue Lagoon is protected by towering mountains, creating a natural barrier that shields it from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. For a touch of adventure, Uludeniz offers exciting activities like paragliding from the nearby Babadag Mountain, where the views of the lagoon below are simply breathtaking. Imagine hundreds of people running for their lives as enemy armies appear on the horizon. No escape, nowhere to hide, except a mountain of stone carved into a maze. For centuries, Uchisar Castle was the last safe place for the people of Cappadocia. Located in the town of Uchisar, this towering volcanic rock formation rises nearly 100 meters above the surrounding landscape, making it the highest point in Cappadocia. Throughout the centuries, Uchisar Castle offered safety from numerous Arab raids, especially from the 7th century onwards, when Cappadocia was frequently targeted by foreign armies. At the top of the castle, you'll find panoramic views of the surrounding valleys, dotted with the region's famous fairy chimneys and ancient dwellings. Uchisar Castle is a popular tourist destination, but only some of the rooms are open to the public. Despite the erosion of time, the castle still stands as a testament to the ingenuity of the people who carved out their homes and defenses in this natural fortress. Between the Mediterranean Sea and the winding Dalian River lies a stretch of golden sand unlike any other, Iztuzu Beach. At first glance, it's a peaceful, sunlit paradise, but this is also one of the most critical nesting sites for the endangered loggerhead sea turtle. For generations, these ancient creatures have returned here to lay their eggs, digging quietly into the sand under moonlight. In the 1980s, this fragile ecosystem nearly vanished under plans for massive hotel construction. That's when a British woman named June Haymoff and a group of environmentalists stepped in, sparking an international campaign that reached all the way to Prince Philip. Under pressure from conservation groups around the world, the Turkish government paused the construction and later gave Iztuzu Beach special protection status. Since 1988, the beach has been part of the Koyçez Dalyan Special Environmental Protection Area, where turtles and tourists now share the sand respectfully. The quiet victory became a symbol of grassroots environmental action, and the turtles still return, year after year. What if I told you there's a place in Antalya that rivals some of the world's most famous natural wonders, yet few have ever heard of it? Tazi Canyon, tucked away in the heart of Turkey, might just change the way you think about undiscovered beauty. It's often called the Grand Canyon of Antalya, but don't let that comparison fool you. It has its own unique charm. Located within the Koprulu Canyon National Park, this hidden gem offers a breathtaking landscape that's almost untouched by mass tourism. The canyon's towering cliffs, deep ravines, and crystal-clear streams make it a paradise for nature lovers and adventurers alike. While many flock to Antalya for its famous beaches and ancient cities, those who take the time to explore this secluded canyon will be rewarded with serenity and stunning views. Thanks to a viral commercial in 2019, Tazi Canyon has started to get the attention it deserves, but it's still one of Antalya's best-kept secrets. If you're looking for an escape from the crowds, Tazi Canyon is the perfect place to visit and truly connect with nature. Alanya is a beautiful beach town on Turkey's southern coast, surrounded by the Mediterranean Sea and the Taurus Mountains. It's been home to many empires throughout history, including the Romans, Byzantines, and Ottomans. The city's famous landmarks like the Red Tower and Alanya Castle were built by the Seljuks during their rule in the 13th century. Alanya's warm Mediterranean climate makes it a popular spot for tourists from around the world. Visitors enjoy the city's stunning beaches, crystal clear waters, and exciting festivals. The area also has a rich history, with evidence of human activity going back to 20,000 BC. Alanya's old city is full of charm, with narrow streets and ancient buildings. In recent years, the city has grown as a popular place for both tourists and people buying property. At nearly 4,000 feet above sea level, Sumela Monastery sits like a bird's nest on the edge of a cliff. Hidden in the lush forests of the Pontic Mountains, it clings to the rock face like a secret. Many believe it was founded in the 4th century by 2 Athenian monks who were guided here by a vision of the Virgin Mary. Over centuries, emperors and sultans alike protected and supported it, from the Byzantine Empire to the Ottomans. Even storms and wars couldn't erase its story. It always found a way to rise again. After years of silence, it reopened in 2019, once more drawing pilgrims and curious travelers to its impossible perch. No roads lead directly to it. You must walk through pine forests and mountain air to reach this mystical place. Midyat is a town in Mardin province, Turkey, with a rich history and unique blend of cultures. Originally, it was a Syriac Christian town, home to Syriac Orthodox, Catholics, and Protestants. Over the years, the population has changed, and today it's made up of Kurds, Malami Arabs, and Assyrians. Midyat's history goes way back, with Assyrian tablets from the 9th century BC mentioning it as Midyat. The Assyrian king, Ashurnasirpal II, even stayed in the city during his military campaigns, and his monument is still somewhere near the town. Archaeologists believe the ancient site was home to up to 70,000 people at its peak. In the early 20th century, the town saw tragic events during the Assyrian genocide, where many local Christians were killed. Midyat remains a symbol of cultural resilience, blending ancient history with modern life. If you're someone who craves the authentic, the untouched, and the ancient, then you might be missing out on a town where history hasn't just been preserved, it's been lived. Safranbolu is a place where the past and present come together in perfect harmony, offering an experience that no modern city can provide. Nestled in the Black Sea region of Turkey, Safranbolu is famous for its well-preserved Ottoman architecture, with over 1,000 historical artifacts scattered throughout the town. Its name derived from the word saffron and the Greek term polis, meaning city. Safranbolu was once a major trading hub for saffron, and even today, the spice is still grown in the nearby village of Davutabasa. In the heart of the old town, you'll find narrow cobbled streets lined with traditional wooden houses, many of which have been standing for over 300 years. Safranbolu has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1994, preserving its charm and history for centuries. Goreme National Park is one of the most fascinating places in Cappadocia, Turkey. One of its highlights is the Goreme Open Air Museum, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This amazing site is a collection of rock-hewn churches, chapels, and monasteries. These structures were carved into soft volcanic rock by early Christian settlers many centuries ago. The walls of the churches are covered in beautiful frescoes that tell stories of faith and devotion. The museum is not just a place of history, it's a place that shows the resilience of people who lived there. In 1984, Goreme Open Air Museum was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which helps protect it today. Pasabag, also known as the Valley of the Monks, is one of Cappadocia's most stunning sights. famous for its towering fairy chimneys and rich history. These peculiar rock formations were used by Byzantine monks as a place of solitude, especially during times of conflict. The monks carved homes and chapels into the soft volcanic rock, turning the valley into a sanctuary for contemplation and prayer. The valley's unique formations, some reaching up to 10 meters, resemble a forest of tough pinnacles, creating a surreal, almost magical atmosphere. Pasabag remains a popular tourist destination, offering visitors a chance to explore its geological wonders and historical legacy. To make the most of your visit, it's best to arrive early in the day, as the area can get crowded with tour groups later on. Ortahisar Castle, or Ortahisar Kalesi, stands tall in the town of Ortahisar in the Nevşehir province of Turkey. The castle itself is carved out of volcanic tuff and rises 86 meters high. Inside, you'll find a maze of rooms and tunnels, all hidden within the rock. Though it doesn't have the typical towers and walls, Ortahisar Castle was a place of refuge, much like a traditional fortress. Its exact age is unknown, but traces of Byzantine and Ottoman influence have been found in the area. Legend has it that the castle was once home to Haybey Dede, a Muslim saint who arrived here in the 12th century with his 8 siblings from Uzbekistan. Visitors can explore Ortahisar Castle for a small entrance fee. Nearby, you'll also find other rock-cut castles like Ishak Castle and Uchisar Castle, each with its own unique charm. Troy, one of the world's most famous archaeological sites, has a history that spans over 4,000 years. The first excavations were done by the famous archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann in 1870. These ruins provide the most important evidence of early interactions between the civilizations of Anatolia and the Mediterranean world. The legendary siege of Troy, told in Homer's Iliad, has inspired countless artists and writers for centuries. Troy's ancient walls, gates, and buildings have been carefully preserved, giving us a clear view of life during the Bronze Age. It is a place where different cultures met, and its story continues to influence the arts and literature today. The site remains untouched by modern tourism, keeping its authenticity intact. For centuries, the Selime Monastery has stood as a silent witness to the rise and fall of civilizations. This remarkable rock-cut structure, the largest of its kind in Cappadocia, houses a cathedral-sized church carved into the volcanic tuff. Dating back to the 8th or 9th century BC, the monastery has been a home to many different civilizations. Hittites, Persians, Romans, early Christians, Byzantines, Seljuk Turks and Ottomans all left their mark on this sacred site. The church, separated into 3 sections by 2 massive rock columns, reveals ancient frescoes that have withstood centuries of weathering, telling stories of a time long past. In the 10th and 11th centuries, the monastery was transformed into a caravanserai, a refuge for travelers and traders along the Silk Road, allowing the monastery to continue its legacy as a hub of cultural exchange. Abandoned since the 16th century, the monastery's impressive walls and steep staircases still bear the scars of centuries of use, offering a rare glimpse into a rich history that stretches back thousands of years. It's one of the most iconic buildings on Earth, and it's seen more history than almost any other place in Istanbul. This is Hagia Sophia, a masterpiece that's been a church, a mosque, a museum, and then a mosque again. It was built in the year 537 by Emperor Justinian I and was the largest cathedral in the world for almost 1,000 years. Back then, its giant dome was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. It changed the way buildings were designed forever. For nearly 1,000 years, it was the center of the Eastern Orthodox Church, until the Ottomans arrived in 1453. They turned Hagia Sophia into a mosque, added minarets, and used it for prayer for hundreds of years. Later, it became a museum in 1935 and welcomed millions of visitors from around the world. In 2020, it was changed back into a mosque, but the upper floor still acts as a museum. Next, let's take a walk through one of the busiest and oldest markets in the world, the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul. This giant maze has over 4,000 shops, spread across 61 covered streets. Every day, hundreds of thousands of people come here to shop, explore, or just enjoy the atmosphere. The market began way back in the 1400s, after the Ottomans took over the city. At first, it was a small building selling jewels and cloth, but it kept growing over the years. By the 1600s, it had turned into a huge shopping center filled with all kinds of goods. The bazaar has been through fires, earthquakes, and big changes, yet it still stands strong. And even though the world has changed, the Grand Bazaar keeps its charm and keeps drawing people in. Topkapi Palace is where history feels like a real-life drama. For nearly 400 years, sultans ruled the vast Ottoman Empire from this very spot. Imagine powerful rulers, clever advisors, and hundreds of concubines, all living behind these palace walls. Built by Mehmet the Conqueror after he captured Constantinople in 1453, the palace quickly became the heart of the empire. It grew bigger and grander with each new sultan, complete with a treasury full of jewels and a secretive harem where royal women lived. Important meetings took place in the council rooms, while everyday life played out across 4 large courtyards and many smaller buildings. By the 1800s, the sultans moved to new palaces along the Bosphorus, and Topkapi slowly became quieter. In 1924, the palace turned into a museum, and now you can visit treasures like the famous Topkapi dagger and the enormous spoonmaker's diamond. Standing here, it's easy to picture the stories, the secrets, and the splendor that once filled these halls. Looking for sunshine, sea views, and a place that never slows down. Konyaalti Beach in Antalya is one of the best places to enjoy it all. This 7-kilometer stretch is known for its cool, deep waters and smooth pebbles instead of sand. It's easy to reach from the city center, which makes it a favorite for both locals and visitors. There are free public areas and private beach clubs where you can relax in a sunbed or sip a cold drink. Concerts, festivals, and fun events happen all year long, making it more than just a summer spot. From morning swims to evening strolls, Konyaalti is a place that brings people together by the sea. Konyaalti is the heart of Antalya's history, where the past meets the present in the most charming way. This historic city center has been home to Romans, Byzantines, Seljuks, Ottomans, and even modern Turks, and it's a true reflection of the city's layered history. The walls of Konyaalti once protected the entire city, and today the area still feels like stepping back in time. You'll find buildings from different eras, with many of the old Ottoman homes now transformed into cozy boutique hotels, restaurants, and shops. Konyaalti is right by the Mediterranean Sea, with a lovely yacht harbor that dates all the way back to Roman times. The name Konyaalti means inside the castle, referring to its fortress-like walls that once shielded the city. The area is always full of life, and you could easily spend a whole day wandering the historic lanes, soaking in the local atmosphere. Over 600 years ago, a group of European knights started building a fortress at the tip of Turkey's Bodrum Peninsula. They used stones from one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world to construct their castle. This fortress, known as Bodrum Castle, was originally built by the Knights Hospitaller and took several decades to complete. These stones came from the ruins of the mausoleum of Halicarnassus, an ancient tomb that once stood as a symbol of Carian power. The Knights, part of the Order of St. John, saw an opportunity to fortify this strategic location directly across from the island of Kos as their headquarters on the mainland. They called it the Castle of St. Peter, but it's now known as Bodrum Castle, a place where history and architecture blend in remarkable ways. After centuries of conflict, the castle eventually fell into Ottoman hands, transforming from a Christian stronghold into a mosque, forever changing its story. Kayakir, also known as the Ghost Village, is located just south of Fethiye in Turkey. It's a unique and moving place, with hundreds of roofless houses scattered across the mountainside. The village was once home to Greek Orthodox Christians, who lived here peacefully alongside their Turkish neighbors. However, after World War I, the Greek residents were forced to leave, and the town was abandoned. Now, it stands empty, but you can still feel the memories in every stone and wall. As you wander through, you'll see old churches, homes, and even fig trees growing in gardens where families once lived. Kayakir's history is rich, dating back to ancient times when it was known as Karmilassos. It was once a thriving community, but today it is a quiet reminder of a time long gone. Butterfly Valley, or Kelebekler Vadisi, is a stunning 4-kilometer-long canyon nestled at the foot of Turkey's Babadağ mountain. Located just 30 kilometers south of Fethiye and a short distance from the famous Uludeniz, this peaceful valley is a haven for nature lovers. The valley is home to nearly 100 species of butterflies, though their numbers have decreased in recent years due to the noise from boats nearby. Still, if you visit quietly and respect the serenity of the area, you might catch a glimpse of these beautiful creatures. First discovered by hippies in the 1990s, Butterfly Valley is now a protected nature preserve, ensuring that its stunning landscape remains untouched. The valley is known for its 350 to 400 meter high cliffs and its small, tranquil beach at the base. Outdoor activities like hiking, camping, and even scuba diving are popular here, making it a favorite spot for eco-tourists. In the remote lands of Turkey, there's a secret to surviving scorching heat, brutal winds and earthquakes. An age-old architectural marvel, the Harran beehive houses. These homes, built of nothing but mud and clay, have been beating the elements for thousands of years. Dating back over 3,000 years, the city of Harran was once a thriving hub along the ancient trade routes. Now, it's a quiet village, but its unique architecture still holds the key to survival in one of the harshest climates on Earth. The beehive shape is not just for show. It's designed to trap cool air inside while letting the heat escape through a small opening at the top. The thick mud and clay walls provide insulation, keeping the interiors cool during the scorching summer heat and warm in the cold desert nights. Göcek is a peaceful coastal town that's perfect for a relaxing holiday in Turkey. It's famous for its yacht tourism, with 6 marinas and calm, clear waters surrounded by lush green hills. The bay is filled with little islands and quiet coves, making it a great place to explore by boat. Because the area is protected, you won't see any tall buildings, just charming homes and boutique hotels. You can take boat trips to hidden beaches, swim in crystal clear water, or just enjoy the view from a cozy cafe by the sea. The waterfront is full of restaurants, little shops, and quiet spots to enjoy the sunset. With beautiful nature, great food, and easy access to the sea, Göcek is a perfect place to slow down and enjoy the moment. If you're looking for adventure in nature, this place might just be perfect. Koprulu Canyon is a huge national park in southern Turkey, filled with amazing cliffs, rivers, and history. The canyon walls rise up to 100 meters high and stretch for 14 kilometers along a sparkling river. It's a great spot for rafting, hiking, or just enjoying the fresh air and beautiful views. The canyon sits northeast of Antalya, about a 90-minute drive from the city. It was declared a national park back in 1973 to protect its wild beauty and special history. Antalya is the shining star of the Turkish Riviera and one of the most popular beach cities in the world. It's known for golden sands, clear blue water, and waterfalls that roar right into the sea. This sunny city is a mix of modern fun and ancient wonders, all wrapped in Mediterranean charm. Long ago, it was called Atalaya, named after King Attalus II, who founded it around 200 BC. The Romans, Byzantines, Seljuks, and Ottomans all left their mark, and you can still see their traces today. Even though it sits right by the sea, Antalya is surrounded by tall mountains and dramatic landscapes. With over 16 million visitors in one year, Antalya isn't just beautiful, it's one of the most loved places on earth. If you're traveling through eastern Turkey, there's a quiet, magical place you might spot on a hill: the ruins of Bana Cathedral. Long ago, this church was one of the grandest in the region, built in the 600s and later fixed up by a Georgian king in the 800s. It once hosted royal weddings, big celebrations, and even kings' coronations. Over time, the church was damaged by wars, earthquakes, and even turned into a fortress during the Crimean War. Today, only part of the walls and a single tall column still stand, surrounded by piles of stone from the past. We've all seen waterfalls before, but what if I told you there's one so unique that it flows directly into the Mediterranean Sea? The Duden Waterfalls in Antalya defy what you expect from a traditional waterfall. These falls consist of two distinct sections, the upper and lower Duden Waterfalls, each offering a completely different experience. Visitors can get up close by taking boat trips to see the waterfall from a unique vantage point, and even swim in the refreshing waters nearby. Best visited during spring or fall, the falls are at their most stunning, with a full flow of water and mild weather. So, if you're in Antalya, don't miss the chance to witness the magic of the Duden Waterfalls, nature's breathtaking performance set against the stunning backdrop of the Mediterranean. Did you know that more than 400 years ago, one of the most powerful rulers in history dreamed of building a mosque so magnificent it would surpass every other in the world? That ruler was Suleiman the Magnificent, and his vision became the stunning Suleymaniye Mosque in Istanbul. Designed by the genius architect Mimar Sinan, the mosque sits on the third hill, offering a breathtaking view of the Golden Horn. Built in the 1500s, the mosque is part of a larger complex that once included schools, a hospital, and even a public kitchen. Behind the mosque, the tombs of Suleiman and his wife, Hürrem Sultan, stand as a lasting tribute to their legacy. To create this masterpiece, Sinan used columns from ancient ruins, like those of the Hippodrome, blending history with innovation. Inspired by the Hagia Sophia, this mosque pushed the limits of design, becoming one of the finest examples of Ottoman architecture. Though it faced many challenges, including fires, earthquakes, and war, the Suleymaniye Mosque has always been restored to its former glory. Tucked away in the heart of eastern Anatolia, Muradiye Waterfall is a breathtaking natural wonder that has captured the hearts of visitors for centuries. Standing 50 meters tall, this waterfall is located in the Muradiye district, 80 kilometers from Van in eastern Anatolia. The waterfall is fed by the Bendai Mahi stream, which originates from Tendurek Mountain. It was named after Sultan Murad IV, who passed through the area during his Baghdad campaign in the 1600s. Impressed by the falls, his Janissaries requested that it be named after the Sultan, and that's how Muradiye Waterfall got its name. In the spring, the surrounding area blooms with colorful flowers, adding even more charm to the waterfall's beauty. During winter, the falls are surrounded by mist and frost, creating a magical, icy atmosphere. What if I told you that high above the Black Sea, nestled between steep cliffs, there's a city that has stood for over 7,500 years? Amasya isn't just a place to visit. It's a city that forces you to see history from a completely new angle. In ancient times, Amasya was known as Amasya, a fortified city perched high above the Yeşilırmak River. It was home to kings and thinkers, like the famous geographer Strabo. The city's history is etched into the landscape, with royal tombs carved into the cliffs above. Amasya also played a key role during the Ottoman Empire, where princes were sent to govern and learn. This is where two powerful sultans, Murad I and Selime I, were born. The traditional Ottoman wooden houses that line the streets have been beautifully restored into cafes, restaurants, and hotels. As tourism grows, Amasya continues to captivate with its unique combination of history and beauty. Perched high on Çamlıca Hill, the Grand Çamlıca Mosque stands as a magnificent symbol of modern and traditional architecture. Completed in 2019, it's the largest mosque in Turkey, with room for up to 63,000 worshippers. Its 6 towering minarets and massive central dome dominate the skyline, offering a stunning sight from all over Istanbul. The design, inspired by classical Ottoman architecture, blends old and new in a breathtaking way. The main dome, reaching 72 meters, symbolizes the 72 nations that call Istanbul home. It was designed with a focus on inclusivity, featuring spaces tailored for women, including separate prayer areas and childcare facilities. The Grand Çamlıca Mosque isn't just a place of worship. It's a true masterpiece and a must-see in Istanbul. At the very tip of Turkey's Datça Peninsula, where the Aegean Sea kisses the Mediterranean, lies the forgotten city of Knidos. To the modern eye, it's a quiet, desolate place, but to ancient traders, it was a bustling metropolis. The city's strategic location, once an island now connected to the mainland, made it an essential stop for both military and commercial ships. Its layout followed the natural contours of the land, with broad avenues and impressive city walls that still stand today. The city flourished during the Hellenistic era, attracting artists, philosophers, and traders alike. But like many great civilizations, it eventually fell victim to earthquakes and invasions, leading to its abandonment. Now, the ruins of Konyaalti stand as a quiet reminder of a once thriving city that bridged two seas. At its peak, Ephesus was more than a city. It was a symbol of ancient power, faith, and architecture. Founded by Greek settlers in the 10th century BC, it rose on the ruins of a former Hittite capital. Ephesus became a major hub of the Ionian League, later falling under Roman rule in 129 BC. Its most famous landmark, the Temple of Artemis, drew pilgrims from across the ancient world. The city also boasted grand structures like the Library of Celsus and a massive theater that could seat 24,000 people. Ephesus is closely tied to early Christianity. St. Paul wrote to its people, and it's believed the Gospel of John may have been penned here. After invasions, earthquakes, and the slow silting of its harbor, the city eventually faded from glory. But its ruins still echo with the footsteps of history, drawing visitors from all over the world. Over 3,000 years ago, the ancient Greeks called it Smyrna. Now it's Izmir, and many locals still smile more than anywhere else in Turkey. It was founded around 3000 BC, possibly by the legendary Amazons or King Tantalus of Phrygia. In ancient times, it rose to power as part of the Ionian League, and later became an important city under both Roman and Ottoman rule. The name may have changed, but the spirit of the city remains, open, lively, and full of life. Along the coastline, people gather at open-air cafes and restaurants, where the breeze from the sea never seems to stop. The Mediterranean climate turns the waterfront into a daily celebration of light, sound, and movement. Islamic culture shapes much of the city, but it blends easily with a relaxed modern lifestyle. On any evening, it's not unusual to see friends sharing food and drinks by the sea, laughing well into the night. High in the mountains of central Greece, on the slopes of Mount Parnassus, stood one of the most sacred places in the ancient world, the Temple of Apollo at Delphi. To the Greeks, this wasn't just a temple, it was the very center of the universe, marked by a stone called the omphalos, or navel of the earth. Pilgrims came from across the Greek world to walk the sacred way, a winding path lined with statues and treasures from powerful city-states. At the heart of the sanctuary, the priestess known as the Pythia delivered prophecies believed to come straight from Apollo himself. These cryptic messages shaped the decisions of kings, guided armies into battle, and influenced the rise and fall of cities. The temple we see ruins of today was built in the 4th century BCE, after earlier versions were damaged by fire and earthquakes. Long after its destruction in 390 CE, the stories and mysteries of the Temple of Apollo continue to echo through time. They say a girl cried a river trying to find her brother, the river that now divides ancient Caria and Lycia. This story is part of the legend of Kaunos, a city born from heartbreak and myth. According to mythology, Kaunos was founded by King Kaunos, the son of the Carian king Miletus and grandson of the god Apollo. His twin sister Byblis fell in love with him, and when he fled to escape her advances, she became so heartbroken that her tears formed the Kalbis River. The river marks the boundary between Caria and Lycia, and it's here that Kaunos was built. The city, which dates back to the 10th century BC, was once a vital port, connecting trade routes and cultures. It had 2 ports, one near Kuchukale and another at Lake of the Leeches, crucial for its trade and defense. As the Bay of Dalian silted up, Kaunos slowly became more isolated, located now about 8 kilometers from the coast. By the 15th century, a malaria epidemic and Turkish invasions led to its abandonment, leaving the city in ruins. Some say the Aegean light feels different in Bodrum, softer, bluer, like it's been filtered through centuries of history. This seaside town has been luring artists, travelers, and dreamers for generations. In ancient times, it was called Halicarnassus, and it held one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Mausoleum of Mausolus. You can still wander the ruins, then climb up to the medieval Bodrum Castle, built by the Knights of St. John. Down by the harbor, whitewashed buildings glow in the sun, and bougainvillea spills over every corner. Fishing boats sway beside sleek yachts, and cafe tables line the waterfront with the smell of fresh meze in the air. And at sunset, when the sky turns gold over the Aegean, it's easy to see why so many never want to leave. From ancient cities carved into stone to waterfalls that meet the sea, Turkey has a way of surprising you at every turn. You follow narrow streets, hear the call to prayer echo between centuries-old walls, then turn a corner and find a scene straight out of a postcard. Even in the quietest moments, something stirs. Maybe a breeze through olive trees, or the gentle clink of tea glasses in a shaded cafe. Some places whisper their stories. Turkey shares them freely in every color, every step, every smile. And just when you think you've seen it all, another path appears, another view, another story waiting to be uncovered. No rush. Take your time. Let it unfold. Because here, the journey never really ends. Thanks for coming along. See you in the next adventure.